Hello my Florida Garden Escape channel. Welcome to our new and improved video. So we've been really busy lately. We've been on vacation, and then we just recently had that Hurricane Ian storm. Thankfully here in our part of Florida we only got the really gusty winds, so that's the good news. But let's take a look and see how our plants did during this windy storm. First thing first, you see here where this limb right here is down. The wind did blow it down, so we're gonna have to come out here and we're gonna do a whole separate video on trimming this out because it is getting colder out and we'll need to thin her out for the winter. And as you can see, this fell, and what I'll have to do is I'll have to come in here and see where exactly it's at. And as you can see, it's right there, and I'll just cut that out as I don't want that on the ground, as that gives it more active towards pest cement. So we're gonna get that taken care of. And guys, I'm gonna brace you. So before I turn to my left here, you're gonna see the marigolds that we rearranged and moved around, and let me tell you, they're not looking great. So here we go. Look at that. Beautiful marigolds, no longer beautiful. So as you can see, this one, it did, a lot of the limbs and that did get really heavy. As you can see right there, the limbs in the marigold did break off. And so I'm not sure how I need to go about getting that fixed, because as you can see, the limbs are so heavy that they're now just bloop right over. Yeah, so I'm not sure how well that one's gonna do. As you can see, these two are still staying strong. We do need to get some water out here for them, and then they will be good. And as you can see, this one right here is the same thing. As you can see, it did split. So I'm gonna have to look at those. So I'm gonna have to look at that and see what I need to do to get that fixed. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything else. Everything looks good so far. Everything's still standing on this end. These marigolds are still holding up good and strong. I like how they're looking. Nothing's fallen over. Nothing showing any damages, which is good. And as you can see, we have our sun gold sunflower there, and it's coming up good. We're not seeing any damages from it. As you can see, we're not getting as many blooms off the roses anymore since it is getting colder. And let's move over here. Alright, so as you see here, we still have some blooms on these rose petals and that, so that's good. I'm not sure how much longer these are going to bloom for before they don't shoot off any more blooms. And as you can see, these marigolds are still good and tall, but looks like they did end up pushing this one over. So I'll need to remove this one and move it over further out. But everything else looks good. As you can see, our aloe is getting bigger, which is good. Everything's looking good. That aloe's looking good. And as you can see, the wind is so strong that it did end up pushing this down. And I'm just going to go ahead and fix it. And as you can see, she did get really long here. And I'm just going to show you guys a prime example of how long she has gotten. So as you can see now, her limbs are going all the way out to over here. We're going to have to move her this weekend to the back garden, so that way she has more room to grow. Alright guys, so as you can see, our Florida King peach tree is losing a lot of its trees. I mean, leaves, not trees. And as you can see, it is losing a lot of its leaves, and that's only due to it becoming fall. We did feed it some compost and that to help keep it nutrition, so that's good for it. And hopefully we won't lose too many more leaves. But let's go ahead and look over here at the Satsuma. As you can see, it hasn't lost any of its leaves. It is getting taller and it is looking great. Not a whole lot of bug eating on it, so that's also good. I really can't complain with the Satsuma. It is looking great. As you can see, we do still have a lot of the coal and clay on it, and that is protecting it from getting ate up by the bugs. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the back garden area. Alright guys, so we are currently walking back here to the back garden to look at everything. As you can see, we have a bit more sticks poking out the ground. I did end up coming out here earlier today to get everything more stood up more, as the wind did blow a lot of it down, and I'll kind of go through and show you what I mean by blowing it down. So the first things first we're going to look at is going to be our blackberries. As you can see, we have a lot of new growth coming through, a lot of new leaves, and they're looking good. And everything you see here we have fed with our compost dirt. And look at that, guys. Look how great that is looking. That is just looking great. And then also here's our other one, looking good. We have some new growth coming on down here. As you can see, some debris and that from other trees and that have blown down here, but everything does look good. It's got some new growth going on, which is good. I'm loving what I'm seeing. And then here we have our carrots. As you can see, they're getting tall. They're loving the ground they're in. I cannot complain with these guys, not one bit. And since I've put them in here, we haven't really seen a whole lot of weeds in that, which is awesome as well. And that's good there. Looks good. I can't really complain. These guys, some of the limbs, oh, look. We did find a little weed. Let's pull this guy out and see, got it all out of there. And so I always like to come through here and check on everything, kind of pull the weeds up so that way they're not having to compete with those weeds in there, because you never want your garden stuff to compete with weeds. So I just come out here on a daily, kind of pluck the weeds out, even the little ones. Every little bit counts, guys. All right, those are our carrots. And as you can see here, this is the sensor I was telling you guys about. So anytime a small animal or anything like that comes through here, this thing sends out a very loud sound, which is supposed to scare them off. I haven't heard it go off yet, so I'm kind of curious to wonder if it works. I'm gonna have to put a camera out or something to see if it's really working or not. And as you can see, guys, the lettuce here is growing. We are looking fabulous. They're all growing good. We haven't had too much damage from rabbits or anything from a notice, which is good. They are all growing wonderfully. And some of these, like these two right here and these two over here, were just recently transplanted out here. And as you can see right there, that is where we have moved our compost our compost to now. So now our compost sits there instead of before, where it was a lot closer to the house. So we did get that moved. And as you can see, our celery did have a few leaves on it that were dead. I did get those removed off, so that way it encourages more growth. But so far everything is looking good with our celery. As you can see, we still are getting a lot of winds, but it's okay. Everything's pretty well protected out here. Let's go ahead and take a look over here at our squash. So this one right here, and if you guys remember, quiz time, do you guys remember what we decided to name this squash right here? If you do, go ahead and leave the name down in the comments below. As you know, sometimes we like to give our plants some funny names, especially when they have certain characteristics that are different from others. And I'm just looking here. It looks like we just had a few dead leaves, but I'll just need to come out here and get that stuff removed off here. But everything is looking great for the squash. And like I said, guys, if you remember the name we named the squash, just leave the comment down below in the comments and let us know what you think. And as you can see, we still have a little bit of white stuff coming on them. And as you can see, it comes off fairly easy. So what I'll do is get some more neem oil and the caterpillar stuff, just to make sure none of that is eating on the squash, so that way we stay healthy, healthy, healthy. And as you can see, this one right here, it did end up falling over. But I've seen a lot of squash lay down on the ground and then they produce better like this, and then the sprouts will just start shooting up. So I think I'm just going to leave this guy down, let it kind of do its thing. Because I've seen where at times the squash doesn't do as well when it stands totally straight up, because it's a lot of weight. And so now let's move down further. Look at this, guys. So this was our standalone squash. This squash was off to itself, as you can see. The other two are down here, and this one's kind of strangling all by himself here. And looks like we have some ants on them. So I'll need to get some neem oil out here and see why he's getting the ants on him like he is, because they are literally crawling on him, as you can see there. So I'll need to get some neem oil out here and spray right here and kind of get them out of there, because I really don't want them crawling on the plants. So as you guys remember, we put all beefsteak tomatoes right here, and as you can see, some compost in that has built up around, well, not compost, but leaves in that have built up around them. So they have a lot more mulch down now. And then as you can see, they are growing good. Loving what I'm seeing here with our beefsteak tomatoes. I can't wait till they start looking like these guys over here. And as you guys remember, these tomatoes, what we had an issue with is the labeling. So I didn't ever label them correctly and name which one was which. So we're still waiting to see which ones are going to be the Sun Gold tomatoes and which ones are going to be the Mashivik tomatoes. And I always swear I'm saying those names wrong, but tell me, guys, what you think. Do you think I'm saying it right, or does it just sound better? Mashivik. Mashivik. Sounds Russian or something, right? Look at that wind. That wind is literally pulling that tomato plant down. So I'm going to have to get something out here for him as well. So we don't have any poles in that to keep more poles put up like these to hold them up. So I had to get other limbs in that we've already had broke down to kind of help support them. And as you can see, and I'll work my way around. And also, guys, just to throw this out here as well, as you see, these leaves are different. These leaves are definitely different from these right here to those over there. And then let me tell you, there is one out of the bunch, and we're going to do it from the distance here. See how well your guys' eyes are. Do y'all see the one plant that is totally different from all the rest? If you don't, it's okay. I'll give you a couple minutes. And let me know in the comments down below if you actually see the difference in the tomato plants right there. No? No, don't see it yet? Let's move closer. Look at that. Tell me, what kind of tomato plant is that? And let me show you guys something else. So you remember the tomato plant that ended up falling over? I put this one here in place of it, but now look what it's doing. It's shooting out leaves. And I just put this one over here. And look, guys, look at this. We have a tomato coming through. Look at that, guys. We have a tomato coming through. So I'm really excited to see if that's going to be the Sun Gold tomatoes or if that is the Moshevich tomatoes. I can't wait to see. Let me know, guys, down in the comments what you think it's going to be, the Moshevik tomato or the Sun Gold tomato. I'm really excited about that. I just noticed that. And so I really wanted to show you guys how I'm holding these plants up. A lot of people use strings, things like that, and what I'm using is bread ties. And so as you see here, it still has a lot of room to fit, a lot of room to grow, and I can always expand it by loosening this up and giving it more room to grow, so that way it's not being crowded by that at all. And as you can see, and I'm just going to show you, a lot of our tomatoes are shooting out flowers, which is definitely a good sign. As you can see from here, it's shooting out flowers, but it's also shooting out a tomato. So that's always a good sign. And so here you see, yes, I know, guys. it's lopsided. The stick that I put in the ground is lopsided, and it's leaning more towards that pole. I know I have to do this. Is just for temporary, just until I can get something more straighter and more in the ground like these guys are, for it to grow more up. I'm really looking to get some more poles that are like this, so that way it's more of a straighter and it's a lot more sturdier. All right, and now there's all our tomatoes, and they're all tied up the same way. And look at this, guys. So this one I definitely need to get something bigger, because as you can see here, it has overgrown this currently. So I really need to get something more taller, so that way I can encourage it to grow up more. And then also with this one as well, as you can see, I did have it positioned upright, but since the wind, it kind of blew it a little slant-wise. So hopefully with me pinning it up more, it'll encourage it to grow up straighter. And as you guys can see, I did skip over that marigold. Can't believe I did that. So here is the marigold that we planted in here to help do the pesticide resistance, to help decrease the pests that we see on our plants out here. I do have some more marigolds planted, and I do plan on getting more out here. This was just the first one we got done, and I can't wait to get the others out. And as you can see, this one is already starting to try to shoot off some blooms, which is freaking amazing. But as you guys can see, it is getting tall and it is looking great, which is awesome. We always want to see this kind of growth. Now, let's come down here to the blueberries and take a look at the blueberries. So as you can see, we have lost a few leaves, but it's okay. We will lose leaves during our fall season, but it's okay. We will have encouraged new growth when it comes time for them to bloom and things like that. But as you can see, and I'm going to take you around here, as you can see, we have sprouted off a lot of new growth, as this is all new. And so we're really excited about that, and we can't wait to see how much bigger and that those will get. And now let's take a look over here at our black muscadine. And so quiz number 2 for you guys. Do you guys remember what we named this plant? If you guys do, remember, leave it down in the comments. We love to see what you guys remember from our previous videos. And yeah, look at that, guys. Look how big it is. Look. New growth all right here. All right here. And as you can see, this is what it's going to look like. Now, we did taste this. We did actually end up buying some of these grapes. So, sorry, disruption. Kids came running. As you can see, I'll show you. Little one there, little Riches out in the garden, seeing what her mama's doing. Anyways, so this is probably why I can't ever get any videos done, is because my kids drive me crazy. But anyways, so we actually bought black muscadine grapes to see how well they would taste. Yes, I see. Hi, honey. I see. And so we ended up coming to find out they really taste tardy. They don't really taste all that great. But this one is doing great, and we're hoping we can find some friends and family members that might like the grapes, that might appreciate them more. We definitely don't. Maybe the kids will. Don't know. But as you can see, and I'll show you again, it is encouraging more growth. We got some new leaves coming through, which looks great. I can't really complain. There it goes. But that is our black muscadine. And to be honest with you guys, everything is really looking great. We've seen a lot of new growth coming through. We even see, as you've seen, we even have a tomato peeking through. So there's never too late of a time to start gardening. There's never a too late of time to get your garden started. If you wait too late, you could be looking out, keep on waiting for years to come. Research as you go. Research what you want to grow. Like, don't stop at just one variety of a plant. Get multiple varieties. Like, expand your horizon. Don't break out of that comfort zone. If I can do it, you guys can do it. And with these videos, I really hope you guys get something out of them. I hope it inspires y'all to get your own garden going, because as y'all know, this day and age, you could go to Walmart or Publix and be looking at spending probably like $5-10 on a whole sack on tomatoes, and that's just not, nobody wants to spend that kind of money when you can just grow your own and get like buku loads and not have to spend $5-10 every time you want tomatoes. Yes, I see it. So currently we're gonna show you, we got to get everything more stirred together for the compost, and then we'll show you how we got that moved. Also, we're going to do a seedling update video because we put in some new seedlings, and I can't wait to show you. I started them before the weekend, and you guys won't believe how well they've grown. But keep a lookout for that seedling video. Don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell. Get those notifications for those new videos, okay? We love having you guys. Leave your comments, leave your tips. We can't wait to hear from you. And until next time, Florida Garden Channel, deuces.